Reggae interviews. Word sound power.
This is DJ 745 for Reggae Interviews here backstage at Reggae Land 2024 alongside a man whose works we've been following for years and years and years. The mighty Jazzwad is here in the building. How are you doing today?
I'm good, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I think it's such a joy to see so many people here in Milton Keynes. We've not had that many reggae festivals over the last few years. It's bubbling up. It's a great move for the UK reggae community, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great look for the music, not just UK alone, but reggae in general, because, you know, we have many festivals all over the world, in Europe, Jamaica and other places, but for us to have a festival like this in the UK is great, and not just one day, but few days. Yeah.
And this year we've been blessed with some beautiful weather, give thanks to the Almighty.
We're having some great weather so far, because apparently the weatherman said it was going to rain, but we haven't seen no rain as yet, so hopefully all goes great for the rest of the day.
Now, we know you, or we know your music more than you as a person, okay? If you're a reggae lover, if you bought 7-inch vinyls in the past, you flip it over on the B-side and your name, Jazzwad, is guaranteed to be on some of those labels. So the early ones I can think of were labels like Saxon, Fashion. You've worked with people like Collybud, Bobby Digital, Priceless, Bounty Killers label, so much works, so many rhythms. How did that journey first start for you as a producer?
How would the journey start as a producer? Well, the journey started before being a producer. So first I must say that my grandfather, Mr. Edward Yeboah, he built the first amplifiers in the UK for sound systems. So my grandfather, Mr. Edward Yeboah, from Ghana, he started sound system culture in the UK by building the first sound system amplifier and sound system for Duke Vin. That was maybe in the 60s. So growing up around my grandfather, I would hear the music all the time. My father, Warren, as well, he was a promoter. He used to put on shows in the early 80s with Dennis Brown at the Zigzag Club. He done another historical show, Dennis Brown meets Frankie Paul, for the first time in Stonebridge, Northwest London, and he done shows with Steel Pulse as well. So I was always around the music from I was born. And then my mom, Lorna, she used to work at Grove Music. Okay. So Grove Music was a label in the UK that they used to get songs from the Jamaica producers and artists like Michael Prophet, Freddie McGregor and all these people. So King Sounds and Mikey Campbell, who was Aswad's manager, they started Grove Music label, but my mother worked there. Right, so I know myself, I've been around Grove Music in the office, seeing all the records, and then my mom, Lorna, again, she's also godmother to Asha, who is the daughter of Mikey Campbell, Aswad's manager. Okay. So again, I'm always in Heather's house. That's Michael's wife, and I've just been around it. King Sounds. So King Sounds, in the house where King Sounds used to live with my godmother Maureen, Aswad used to rehearse there.
No way.
Bald-headed Aswad, no locks, nothing. Wow. So I used to see them rehearsing in the spare room, Bravington Road in West London. So I always be behind Drummy, watching and looking. When he move away, I get to go around and mess around. So my mom got me a little miniature drum kit that I used to play in nursery.
Nursery, wow.
Not junior school, not primary school, but nursery. I had drums. So I loved it so much that they used to allow me to take it home every weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I could take the drum kit home and bring it back to the nursery on Monday. And they allowed me to do that till my mom got me my own. So going up and up in the years, I got a guitar. I kind of messed with it, but I wasn't really great with that. And then one day, my dad decided to go down to the front line in Labra Grove. And he found Drummy Zeb. So because my dad bought me a drum kit, but he didn't know how to set it up. So he got home with his drum kit, don't know how to set it up, so said, who can I ring? Drummy Zeb. So he found Drummy Zeb on the Labrador Grove front line, brought him home. So when I came home from school and I pushed the door open to my bedroom, the drum kit was there. And then my dad had a Polaroid camera, so he took a picture of Drummy behind the drum set, so I could actually see that Drummy came there to set it up. So
this is real history. I love this.
Yeah, so this is all before. I couldn't just jump into the producer part and not give you the story before. So drumming set up my drum kit. I messed around with that. I sold the drum kit. Then I bought myself a keyboard. My mom got me a keyboard as well. Teach myself how to play. So till today, I don't know how to read or write music. I can only play by ear. So I listen to music, learn. So in the early 80s, I started my own group called the Young Lions with me and my cousin Kevin, Alicia. We had our own little group. We called ourselves the Young Lions because Aswad, they used to call Aswad the Young Lions of reggae. So I said, Young Lions is a good name to have. So I had that. I was playing the drums in the group. Roland was playing the keyboard. Roland is the younger brother of Omar Lifehook. So that was our little band. So funny that Benji from Rough Cut Band in Jamaica that's going to play today with Shabba, I met him early 80s, around 84, when he came to England with Paul Blake and the Bloodfire Posse. And it so happened that my group was allowed to be the opening act.
Okay.
So,
Lions, wow.
Right, so that's where I got to know Benji. And even Paul Blake himself wrote a song for my group. So I got some studio time in a studio called the Pit Theatre in Edgware Road, down Church Street. They had a studio there. So you could go in there every Saturday and get an hour for yourself. So I put my name down for an hour, and Paul Blake came to the studio with me and wrote a song for me and made the beat as well. So that's from early 80s. Wow. So we done all of that, and then I just kept going through the ranks of making connections. When certain producers or musicians came to the UK, I'd meet them like Steele and Clevey. First time I met Shabba was 1989 when he first came to England with Home T and Brian and Tony Gold. So it wasn't until around 89 when I was going to school. One day when I was going home from school, the conductor on the bus and I started to speak. That bus conductor turned out to be Junior Dan, the singer. So we got speaking, exchanged numbers. I told him I'm into making beats and stuff. So we started linking up down a studio in Labra Grove called Tonos. So we done some work there, and then I think Junior had a connection with Shabba Ranks. So I think he told Shabba Ranks about me, the young kid making beats. Shabba contacted me. Then we went to Fashion and done a session for Shabba with Junior Dan and General Levy. That song was called Tell Me Why. So that was one of my first official riddims on a 12-inch record. And that song went to #1 as my first.
Wow.
So that was the connection there, Junior Dan, General Levy, Shabba Ranks. And then it was around early 90s, my dad was in Jamaica. He was at Sonic Sounds distribution company. And while he was there, Sly Dumbo was there. So I kind of skipped out a part. So in secondary school, sometimes I'd always find my way to Island Records, because that was Aswad's main record company. So anytime I could sneak away from school, I'd end up at Island. When I shouldn't be there, I'll see Sly and Robbie, Trouble Funk, all the greats that was there. So they got used to me coming there, and they said, this kid, he's always around Aswad, and they always let me in. So it was a woman that worked there called Selby Newman. She worked there, and she knew that I could, DJ and stuff. I used to DJ as well, Toast, MC. So I had another group, spin-off from Young Lions, with my cousin called Little Man and Big Man. That was me and my cousin Kevin. So I was a little man and he was a big man. Them time he had Yellow Man and Fathead and combinations and Clint Eastwood and the same. So we done Little Man and Big Man. So they knew of that. So one day again they gave me some hours in the studio, the Fallout Shelter in Ireland, to do what I want. When I went there, Papa Levi was there from Saxon. He was recording a song called 84 Shana, 83 Shana, something like that. So after his session, they gave me some time, and I had backing tracks from, I think it was a Sly and Robbie album, which had triplets and Taxi. That album, we had all the instruments and we just DJ'd on it and done some things. So Selby heard it, and she suggested to a group called Eye Level that we had this young kid, he's good at rapping and DJing. So when I was 10, I got a call from Eye Level to come and record a track for them on their album called the Shakedown album. And I got a track on there called New Day where I rapped. Wasn't DJing dancehall style, but rapping. So that was then. So moving all the way forward now, little from there, when I should have been in school, I went to the studios in like Labrador Grove, wherever, and I heard that Sly and Robbie had a session in Labrador Grove. When I went to the session, it was Sly and Robbie, Handel Tucker on keyboard, Tony Kelly was the engineer, and it was a session from Maxi Priest. That day when I got there, they was making the songs for the riddims for House Call with Shabba Ranks and Close to You, that album, that project, and I was there witnessing it for myself.
About 90, 91?
Roundabout there.
Yeah.
So again, even way before that, I used to when I was going to Island Records, for some reason I was being nosy, looking around. So somebody in the office, they had this thing called the filer decks,
Yes.
where you flip over and all the numbers there. So me being a nosy kid, started looking, Sly Dunbar's number, this man's number, right? So I decided to call Sly Dunbar's, a man who I used to look up to, and saying, I'm a kid from London, I like to play drums, and I see you with these funny shaped drums, which was a Simmons, blah, blah, blah. So his wife got used to me. She's saying, it's a kid from London calling again. So I had a little connection with Sly going on. So Sly remembered me. When he saw my dad in Jamaica, he remembered me and said, what happened to your son? And my dad said, he's in England doing his thing. So Sly said, he needs to be here in Jamaica. So at Sonic Sounds, there's a little telephone box there.
Yep.
So my dad said, he rang my mom and said, Sly just said, Paul needs to come to Jamaica.
What year was that then, roughly?
That was, I think, 91 or 92, I'm not sure. So my dad rang my mom and said, Sly said, send the kid to Jamaica. And within 2 to 3 days, my mom had me on a plane to Jamaica.
Wow.
Reached Jamaica, found my way to King Jammy's studio. This part of the story I can't remember if it was Jammy's first or Bobby Digital, but one of the two, but I think it was Jammy's, because he was the main man. I went to Jammy's, I introduced myself, said I can make beats. So Jammy said, okay, but you need to work with my son John first. So I said, all right, you pass me over to John. So linked up with John, and at the time, the general rhythm was the hot rhythm. The Channel 1 general rhythms, Buju Banton had a big song on there, How Master Godwell a Run, and John wanted us to remake it. So I remade the general. John recorded Sanchez, Jigsy King, Terry Gans, the other people. So when Jammies heard the rhythm, he said, yeah, I want a copy of that rhythm too. So the Copper Shot rhythm. So eventually Bounty Killer recorded Copper Shot, massive hit. Here's a brand new artist from Jamaica, Bounty Killer, and then here we have this new musician from England, Jazzwad. And that's how it really started. They started to go crazy. So I linked with Bobby, Jammies, Fattest Exterminator, Stone Love Weepow. Like my name started to spread from the general rhythm. So everybody wanted to get sessions with me. So I started to do a lot of sessions, making my name around the place, and then So, but then there was one Saturday. Every Saturday, Uncle T, that's Jammy's brother, he used to have sessions there. So one Saturday, we went in there to do some stuff. But that Saturday was the day I was meant to go back to England. But I still went there like I just wanted to get one last bit in. And I think I even missed that flight to go back to England because I overstayed my time. But I think in that session, that's when we made the rhythms for Bounty Killer's Dub for Dub as well. Okay. So, and I remember clearly when Bounty heard him, like, not too like them slow rhythm there, you know. But he still ended up on it, and it became a big tune for him as well, Dub for Dub. Hence, him doing the dub plate for Sky Juice Metro Media, but helped put his name out there as well. So, went back to England, came back, started doing works around the UK, fashion as you said, Saxon, Stingray, a lot of UK productions. So it just started to grow and grow and grow and grow. So as you said, the production part, I had to do all of that to get to the point that you was making first. Is that me getting to production wasn't until about 1999. This was years, like nearly a decade of making beats for other producers, that I just said, maybe just do something for myself. So that's how I made a rhythm called the Riot Rhythm. So one day I was in Bobby Digital's studio recording, and I was recording Major Christie, and in walks Sizzla Kalonji. Sizzla walks in, he hears the rhythm, he's like, we need to dip on the rhythm. So I had to tell Major Chris to listen, come out, because we need to get Sizzla on this first. We can't make this man leave the studio without, and Sizzla like fire blazing hot at this time. So Sizzla recorded. So I made Capleton know that I had a rhythm, made Bounty Killer know, and then I had another studio session around at Anchor. I invited Capleton. So he said, "Who you have on the rhythm?" I said, Sizzla. I said, "Oh, make me hear a bit of it." So the engineer played him in 2 seconds. All right, cool. I said, ready. He went round to the voicing room, and within one take, Capleton voice bun down ready. Long time already, bun down ready. Was voice one take. This is my first rhythm for myself, my first production. And when I released it, it went to #1 in the UK.
I remember.
That was 1999, and it overlapped into the new millennium, into 2000. Bounty Killer also recorded on it, Reggae Stars and Reggae Boys, Bring With Joy. And that's when I kind of started to go into the production, 1999.
25 years.
25 years, yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that you're still doing it now. I mean, I know that you've had like a long history of working with people like Bounty Killer. You did a lot of his early productions when he put out the Priceless recording label. So I'm thinking of rhythms like The Valley of Death. You were responsible for all of those early productions that he did. The remake of the Staggerlag rhythm that you did for him as well. And you're still working with him now because you're doing something very special with the Warlord coming up 2024 or 2025, who knows?
Yeah, well, right now we're working on a all reggae project. So Bounty Killer over the years, out of all the years that he's been doing music, he's never done a full-on reggae project. It's nothing to do, no dancehall, no hip-hop, no nothing, just straight reggae. So that's what we're focusing on right now, you know what I mean? A straight reggae album with Bounty Killer. Yeah, so as you said, all those productions are done with him for Priceless label, Skirdom label. All those years, I was like the main musician in for Bounty Killer at that time. So even though he got beats from other producers along the years, I done all of that. The My Experience album, Fifth Element, all of the Bounty Killer stuff. From we started working, we never stopped working. So and again, when Bounty Killer started to take off, King Jammy decided to put a band together for him, which was a Caution band. So in that band we had Steve from Truckback on the bass. We had Daya on the keyboards from Builders Production. Then we had the great T. Timus on drums, which is another great musician too. And we had Ernie Wilkes on the guitar. So King Jammy said, Jazzwad, like how you're the one that's mostly making all the beats, you should kind of mold and direct the band, be the musical director of the band. So we done that. So as the years went along and Bounty changed band from Caution band, then we started doing work with Rough Cut band, then we had the Alliance band, MOB band. I've always been there to kind of say this is how we're doing it. So years and years I worked with Bounty Killer, big up my brother Rodney Price, and here we are now 2024 doing a new reggae album.
Okay, I want to ask you a question right now. So over, let's say, maybe the last decade, we're seeing less and less producers emerging. It seems as though a lot of the rhythms that we're hearing from Jamaica, people are saying that people are buying them from a kid that's built the rhythm in America and things. Do you think that art of building rhythms is being passed on to younger generations? I.e., are we going to be seeing younger Jazzwads in the making to keep the music going?
Well, I would like to hope there's going to be younger, quote-unquote, Jazzwads, or, musicians that aspire to play the music like how I aspired.
And to the same standard.
Yeah, and to the same level, the same standard, because when I enter the music, I just know what I hear and what I've learned. So I've never tried to really come in and change it. Although me being brought up and growing in England, in London, I hear lots of different music. So I hear hip-hop, I hear jungle, garage, grime. Even before the grime, it was really hip-hop, and jungle never came in yet. Remember, drum and bass never come in yet. So all these other music are inspired by the King Tubbies and the Scientists mixing and these type of things, type drum and bass, electro, EDM and all this type of music. So for me, I had a knowledge of the music, I know how the music sounds, and I've always tried to keep that level. So hopefully the younger generation will do the same. Because I've always said that I've never really seen much kids step up to the plate after I stepped in. Like it kind of stopped there, and there wasn't much young kids. Maybe they want to be a singer or a DJ or artist, but not much wanted to be producers or musicians. So it's good to see the younger generation doing it now, but hopefully they keep the same essence of what was there before. But they say that we, the elders, but not. I don't want to put myself as an elder, but you know the greats before me. They say the elders them don't like what the kids are doing now with the music, and me personally, I like what the kids are doing. Although I would like them to keep some of the original elements, because me as a musician, I'm into sounds and instruments and frequencies, so I like to always try and use different sounds. Because even not for the Bounty Killer stuff and other production, I used to sample stuff from hip hop and stuff like that, but maybe people never recognize it because they're not really fully tuned. Even a song that I done for Stone Love label with Elephant Man was called Jamaica, but it was a remake of the R. Kelly Fiesta. And here we are now, like 23 or 21 years later, where DJ Mac has revamped it and put on Amani and the new kids, and it's the biggest thing right now. So you know what I mean? So just to show that it's good to kind of put some elements of different music in there, but still keep the hardcore reggae and dancehall in it. Yeah. So hopefully if they can do that, the music should be in good hands. But I'm still here, and Sly's still there, and Clevie and all the other greats are still there. So we're still pumping the music that we know, that we think, you know, the world should be appreciating and love. We know that when we travel the world, we always hear what we call authentic, quote unquote authentic dancehall, authentic reggae. The new ones are there, but not as obvious as what we would hear from a Super Cat or Shabba or Beanie Man, or you know, all these other artists that's made international acclaim, you know what I mean, with what's become international reggae and dancehall. So from they can keep the spirit of the music will live on forever. And I'm not gonna be the one to say I'm trying to be biased, but reggae and dance is the most influential music in the world. We've seen it time and time again. Anytime pop artists or hip hop artists or whatever other genre, when their thing starts to get boring, they do a reggae rhythm or a dancehall rhythm to kind of get their thing busy again.
We've seen that so many times, haven't we?
Years and years and years. And here we have this conversation, argument about Afro beats taken from dancehall and vice versa. Dancehall and reggae has always been an influential music over the years. Not even to mention the reggaeton from the same Shabba Ranks, Dembow rhythm and Steele and Clevy's rhythm is an influential music. So we should hold that and hold on to what we have that's been there for years and keep it pushing for the decades and decades and decades. Yeah, man.
Look, Jazzwad, it's been great to catch up with you, and thank you for sharing some of that history, because I never knew a lot of the things that you said. I knew you as the producer from buying all the 45s, but yeah, it sounds like you've got some great works coming up. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Good to link up with you finally. I watch all your stuff on the internet, and but not always, but I said, you know what? Maybe I might link up with him one day, you know, but if I link up with him, I'm not going to say nothing. But now you got me to say.
It's there on record.
So there you go.
Enough respect, yeah?
Man.
Respect,
man.
Blessings.
Keep
yeah,
up
man.
the great work.
Yeah, man, respect.
Reggae interviews. Word sound power.